the haul you guys did in the last couple of days with all the
obviously recruiting was a critical day.
Yep.
Marquavius Lewis, big player,
yep.
top D in the nation. What that meant to our class, what it meant to all the speculation, everything that goes on in the world. For the best player in the nation, Sam Moore, South Carolina, I'm going to be a Gamecock and let's go play. It meant so much to everybody else too. You know, all 9 of those guys coming in are great players, and that clearly makes a mark going forward, finishing through January into February. But we know we got to work hard in January too. Everybody's recruiting all our guys. We know that. So we got to keep recruiting them, and it's a good group if we can get them all here.
Steve, how was the Shaq in practice so far?
Not too bad. Yeah, not bad at all. He hasn't had the year that he would have hoped he would have had. He hasn't had the year I would have hoped he'd have. But he's a talented young man, and that's what gets discouraging as coaches, because you want him to play to the level that you know he can play. So, but he's doing fine. He's practicing hard. His personality, demeanor, attitude's been good. So we just got to keep grinding, keep getting better every day out there.
Do you know if he's applied for projection from the NFL?
I do not know that at all.
Can you pinpoint anything that sort of set him back this year?
No, Demir Bird hadn't had a great year either. Those are 2 guys that are really talented. But, the whole year I kept waiting for them to really, really play well, and they both just haven't played as well as they could have. But they're still talented young men. They're both going to get their chance to make a difference in this game, and hopefully they play well.
Do you expect Shaq back next year?
Sure. I'm back, who's coming, who's leaving. I'll let y'all speculate all that. I'm trying to worry about getting the best guys I can on the field to beat Miami.
Watch the film. Why was the theory why you think Shaq didn't have the year that you thought he
I don't know. And then I mentioned Demir, same boat. I don't know. It just didn't. Pharaoh certainly did, though. So if y'all get an opportunity to say he's done well, I appreciate that. It'd be good. Everybody wants to be critical, though. Why is this guy bad? Why are we struggling here? Why is this happening? But we had some good things happen this year on offense too, and we're certainly going to highlight those things going forward.
Yeah, was it just a situation where Farrell just played very well and just really zoomed past those guys maybe and became the #1 receiver?
Well, he's just good at everything. Yeah, he's good at quarterback. He's what's called a ball player. He can do anything. And when the ball's in his hand, he's a better player. But he's gotten his opportunities. He's made the most of them. He's just a difference maker when he's on the field, and he's just so good in so many situations. So it's been fun coaching him, and he's definitely coming back next year if you need to know about that.
You mentioned that you said other teams are recruiting your guys. You've put out some fires in terms of recruiting.
Well, it just is what it is, and it means we've recruited well. And you've recruited well. I remember there was a time we had a bunch of guys committed and we couldn't get rid of them. They were ours. Nobody else was recruiting them. Now we're recruiting people everybody else in the nation wants, and that's a good thing. But it's also something you got to stay strong with and keep recruiting the heck out of them and understand all the negative stuff, everything that goes on in recruiting. You got to battle that every day, and we're going to fight that through January and hopefully put this class together.
Are you going to continue to use the financial aid paperwork going forward?
People have talked about all that stuff. Are you talking about for January or talking about
just in general for the high school kids, whether they come in January or at any point during the process?
And what's the question again? I missed it.
Are y'all going to sign high school kids, to that financial aid paperwork?
The ones that are going to come in January?
Just
overall, as
you can sign
a philosophy. It sounds like you guys sign more high school kids this time than financial aid papers coming in January.
Well, the main thing was the January, and you can financial aid during the fall. And there's pros and cons to that a little bit. And honestly, if a guy signs that paper and you talk about him, which allows you to talk about him, which is obviously a benefit to your program, but if he goes somewhere else, then it's a violation. So it's both ways on that. But obviously, if you can get a guy to sign something that says he's coming to your school and you can keep talking about it, it makes a difference. I'm kind of a fan of that.
I think you have four high school kids who are graduating early and coming in the program. It might be a high since you've
nine coming in January. That's a huge number. We've never had that before. So no, recruiting's been very different this year. We're signing possibly 30, 31 guys. I mean, it's been a very, very different year in recruiting.
Well, they've talked about mid-year enrollees for a long time. Is that a new trend now around the nation to have high school kids graduate early?
Well, it's been picking up every year, and it changes every year. And there's pros and cons to that, too. We've had guys come in January and quit. I mean, because it's hard. You get here in January, you're taking 4 classes, and you're 28,000 people on campus. It's difficult. So you typically don't do it with a lot of people. We've got a couple guys coming in that are injured that can get the rehabilitation they need, and that's a huge benefit to Sherrod Pittman getting here early, getting his legs strong. But the majority of the time, it's now quarterbacks. You kind of like to get him here. I can't talk about him, but if there's guys that as a quarterback, if you can get him here early and get him in the spring, there's a benefit to that. But we couldn't get him here early. But other guys, it's hit or miss, especially high school guys, unless they can make a difference for you the next year.